I don't know if here's a concept. This is very interesting. Uh, each decade has a significant aspect toward in our lives. The very first decade, from 0 to 10, that's the decade of safety. Okay, as a baby, as a young child, they want to be safe. They want to know that there's secure and everything's going to be safe around them, right? So that they're they can do what they do, right? Then when they get to the teens is the decade of being self-aware. Okay, that's where we begin to say, oh, I began seeing life and I began realizing, hey, I'm a little bit different than other people. So, that's where we're trying to discover our identity. Who am I? And I'm different and this kind of thing. It's very interesting, especially teens, right? Teens want to be a part of a community, right? Oh, I got to be a part. I got to be a part. I want to be liked, and even on the social media, I want how many likes did I get, and all this kind of stuff, right? And so we want to be so much alike, but yet then at the same time, the irony is I want to be different. I want to stand out. I want to be set apart. So it's a real conflict in the teens because I want to be a part of a community, but I want to stand out and be different. So it's a tough time, right? So they get that deal going. Then when they get into their 20s, the 20s is the decade of survival. I've finished my school, I've finished my education. Now I'm going out into the great big world. Holy mackerel. I mean, I've had the security, I've had the provision all, for the first 20 years, being at home. Now I'm out on my own. Can I survive? So the 20 is a decade of survivals. And then at the end, by the 20s is done, they can survive. And so now in the 30s, they want to say, I can survive, but can I succeed? And so now they're out to succeed. They're out, they're highly competitive. They want to rise to the top. They want to do well and overcome. And so the 30s is the decade of success, right? And at the end of the 30s, they succeed, because if you're persistent at it, if you continue to grow and learn, you're going to succeed eventually, right? And so at the end of the 30s, they succeed. But then in the 40s, they're thinking, okay, I've succeeded, but so what? What's it mean? What's the significance of it? The 40s is the decade of significance. What does it mean to have success? What do I do with the success? See? And so the 40s, we discover the significance of it. Then in the 50s, we say, now that I can survive, I can succeed, and I understand the value and the importance of it, now I can really dive in and get my stride, get my rhythm together. So the 50s is the decade of stride. And then in the 60s, now you're going to love this, okay? The 60s is the decade of strategy. See, once I've gotten my stride, once I got my rhythm, with my success and significance, when I get to my 60s, now I've finally got it together. Doesn't that give people hope? you know, at the 60s, I got it together. Do you know statistically that the 60s is the most progressive, successful decade in a human's life? Did you know that? I
No,
mean,
but that's
that's just
terrifying.
fascinating. Why? Because of everything we just went through.
Yeah.
And then the 70s is the decade of succession. In other words, okay, now that I've succeeded, what am I going to do with it? Listen, I can't take it with me. So, these are just things that kind of help make sense out of life for people. Let them know that, hey, I'm doing okay. I'm on target. Maybe a little behind, maybe a little ahead, but listen, I'm moving in the right direction.